Back when I started my fitness journey, I used to think tracking my macros was all that mattered. I counted them religiously, hit my protein, but still couldn't get the results I wanted. I couldn't lose the fat, I couldn't build muscle, and my strength had plateaued. And that had me frustrated as hell. I would also get anxious over social events because I couldn't have control over what I was gonna eat. And that's when I realized I really needed to change something. And the truth is, hitting your protein and macros alone isn't going to get you jacked. And you certainly don't need to let your diet take over your entire life. And this is not another video telling you to be in a caloric deficit or eat a certain amount of protein per kilogram of body weight, because in this video I'm going to give you the simple diet that's going to get you jacked over the next 120 days. And the jack diet is what I call it, helped me to almost triple my free testosterone, and is what I use to help all my clients build muscle, lose fat, all while enjoying satisfying big meals without obsessing over macros and without letting their diet take over their entire life. And I'll not only help you understand core nutrition principles for optimal health and performance, I'll also provide you with the exact list of foods that you should be aiming to have day to day, which foods to avoid. I'll also show you what I eat in a day so you can just copy me in order to get jacked. And I'll also help you understand how to hydrate properly and why most supplements on the market are a money grab and which ones are worth investing in. Now, the most important principle when it comes to your diet in order to get jacked is to follow a 90% single ingredient whole foods diet. Simply put, you want to focus on unprocessed, natural foods without any additives, preservatives, or anything else that wasn't around more than 100 years ago. You also want to be treating your food as fuel, meaning if it doesn't give your body something useful, it doesn't belong in your day-to-day diet. Let's talk about protein, because that's what you want to build all your meals around. The most bioavailable protein sources, aka those that your body can use best, are from animal-based sources, meaning you want to build each meal around high-quality meats, eggs, cheeses, and minimally processed dairy. That could either be raw dairy or full-fat organic Greek yogurt. And you might be thinking, it's so hard to hit my protein with just that. And what I will tell you, brother, is stop crying and make it work. Because if you want to get to your goal, you have to find a certain way of dieting. You don't want to take the shortcut with protein powders or high protein foods, because the previously mentioned protein sources are a lot more bioavailable, better for your health, and contain more micronutrients. Besides that, protein powders can often be made from synthesized amino acids, meaning the protein in there isn't actually real, and more often than not they contain harmful additives or sweeteners that can be bad for your gut microbiome. Next to that, we have your carbohydrate sources. A lot of people I see, they avoid carbs completely because they think it's gonna get them fat, but in reality you don't want to be avoiding carbs because that's what your body uses as fuel. You want to get in the majority of your carbohydrates from complex carbs such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, and buckwheat, while around your workouts or around any activity you do, you also want to fuel up with fruit, honey, and maple syrup. Make sure it's high quality and not any fake stuff. Now, one of the most overlooked nutrients are fats. A lot of people still think if they have a lot of fat, they're going to get fat, which is true in some cases, since fat is very calorically dense and therefore makes it easier for you to overeat. However, it is an essential macronutrient, so you want to be sure to get in healthy fats and also a lot of animal-based fats that contain cholesterol, which is essential for maximizing testosterone, especially in the later part of the day, because your testosterone is produced mostly during your sleep, so you want to make sure your body has enough cholesterol, aka the building blocks of testosterone, in order to build it. Now, the highest quality fats you get in from unseasoned and untreated nuts, pumpkin seeds, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil. And in order to cook, I would suggest you use butter and ghee, since they have a very high smoke point and don't cause any inflammation due to oxidizing when heated up. Now, basically, I'm going to put up the entire list of foods that you should avoid on day to day, since they're most likely low quality, cause inflammation, or simply don't deliver anything good for your body, so you don't want to have it on your day-to-day. Now that you know exactly what to build your day-to-day diet around, I'm going to show you what I eat in a day, so you get some inspiration and you can just copy me in order to get absolutely jacked. I start off my mornings after I hit my workout. I will have a organic, full-fat Greek yogurt bowl. So I will have around 400 grams of Greek yogurt mixed with frozen wild blueberries, and I will usually add some grass-fed collagen for some extra protein and skin health. as well as top it off with some raw honey or some maple syrup in order to make it extra tasty. I will also add a bit of Ceylon cinnamon, which has also a variety of health benefits. That's my go-to breakfast bowl, and I absolutely love it and I look forward to it every day. Now next up we have what I call the goat of all meals. I personally love entrecote, so I will usually have one entrecote for lunch with a bunch of potatoes or sweet potatoes and also some pickles and 2 eggs for some extra cholesterol. This meal is covering every micronutrient and macronutrient you will need, so it's a perfect staple to add to your diet in order to get absolutely jacked. For dinner, I will usually play around with different things. I will build my meal around a meat source, mostly chicken or chicken thighs, some pickles, and I will also pick a fat source if my meat is rather low on fat. So that will either be some eggs or some raw cheese. So this is gonna be a very satisfying big meal as well. And it helps me stack up on some cholesterol in order to really recover well during my sleep and optimize for hormone production. Now, as an overall rule that is very important for you to adhere to a diet sustainably is the 90-10 rule. So what I will do once a week, I will actually plan in a meal where I will have whatever I fancy. So that could either be eating out or having an extra dessert after a meal. That way I know I don't always have to be super strict on myself, and I look forward to that meal all week. Because if you can't see yourself sticking to a diet for longer than 6 months, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're only gonna end up in binge eating cycles like I did. Treat yourself, allow yourself stuff in moderation, log in for most of the week, and then reward yourself with a good meal. I also want to touch base again on calorie tracking, since in my opinion, a lot of people obsess way too much over macros and they leave their intuition totally on the side. Now, while macro tracking can be very helpful for beginners, especially to understand how dense certain foods are, not only when it comes to calories, but also when it comes to carbs. For example, if you rather want to cut and lose weight, you're better off having potatoes or sweet potatoes because they're a lot less dense. And if you understand the density behind, you will actually be able to eat with a more intuitive approach that fuels your goals. That's why with most of my clients, I will start out calorie tracking if they've never done it. And once they get a grip for it, they move away and start eating more intuitively, building their diet around staple meals like I do. That's how they get jacked in the long run without obsessing over macros. Another big one is hydration. 90% of people do not hydrate adequately, since they're either drinking tap water or reverse osmosis filtered water, which actually doesn't hydrate your body properly. The problem with tap water is that it may be contaminated with chemicals, heavy metals, PFAs, because these things are hardly metabolized by your body and they can disrupt your hormone balance. They're so-called endocrine disruptors. You really want to avoid these. So that's why I tell all my clients to only consume high quality mineral water from a natural source that contains at least 100 to 300 grams of calcium and magnesium per liter. And the problem with reverse osmosis filtered water is, because you're probably thinking, why can't I just use filtered water? It is probably stripped of those electrolytes that your body needs to adequately hydrate. Now, if you want to know exactly which brands I recommend to my client, DM me the word guide on Insta and I'll send you through my full-on nutrition guide, which covers the exact list of foods that I just mentioned and also gives you a bunch of brands based on where you're based to opt in for water. Now, the last point I want to make in this video is supplements. A lot of people think they're gonna invest in supplements in order to magically lose fat or get to their goal, while in reality they need to focus on a nutrient-dense diet. Because if your diet isn't in check, your supplements aren't gonna do anything for you, because that's really the foundation. You want to see supplements as the cherry on top of the pie, and if you have the financial means to invest in some, you can, and you may as well take that cherry on top of the pie with you. A lot of supplements out there are low quality or even detrimental to you, so here are the ones that you really want to invest in and make sure they're from a trusted source. Other than that, I don't recommend any supplements unless you have a specific situation. So these that you see here on screen is what I recommend daily. Other than that, you don't need any. You certainly don't have to invest into them. I'd rather have you invest in high quality, nutrient-dense whole foods, because those are gonna get you to your goal nonetheless. Now, if you implement what I've just told you, I promise you, you're going to get absolutely jacked. My brother, I appreciate you for watching. If you took away some value, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to take things onto the next level with your physique and work with me one-on-one, you have two options. DM me the word jacked on Insta or book a call with me, and I will see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one online coaching program. Find both links in the description. As usual, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.